We are. Welcome, guys. This is the Gridiron Gurus. My name's Keith. This is Jesse. And we're actually going to be streaming to YouTube now. So if you're listening to it on the podcast, make sure you go to YouTube. It's the Gridiron Gurus show. And we would love to have you all come in, join us with a live chat, and kind of discuss with us what we're talking about. You notice at the bottom of the screen that it says the topics we're going to be talking about today. NFL draft reactions, the FCS, NAI playoffs, news from around college football, and then our 5 and 5 segment that we actually recorded last week that technical difficulties, again, did not get to upload that. I'm real quick going to talk to you guys about what that is. The 5 and 5 is we take 5 subjects and discuss them in 5 minutes, top 5 list essentially, and try to run those down as quick as we can.
Try to go 5 minutes.
Yeah, try to. But anyways, we're going to jump right into it and start talking about the NFL draft reaction. Actually, just one quick thing. We got a special guest coming on today, quarterback Billy Hall from Reinhardt University. One of our previous podcasts, actually one of the better ones that we've done, I feel like. Yeah. He is going to be joining us and going to be talking a few things.
About what he has to say.
I am too. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
But anyway, so we're going to get right into it, start talking about the NFL draft reactions, where guys went, where we thought that they would land, where they didn't land, things of that nature. Of course, everybody knew Trevor Lawrence was going 1 overall, but I think the surprise of the draft was Justin Fields falling to the Bears at 11. I think that they traded up in the draft, took Fields at 11. I thought, for one, that's a great scenario for Justin Fields.
Right.
And two, it's a great scenario for the Chicago Bears, who have been desperate for a quarterback. And I really don't think that they expected him to fall as far as he did.
No, I don't think anybody expected that. But, I mean, I think we talked – I can't remember which episode we talked about it on. I think it might have been the episode where we had technical difficulty number 2 audio. But the epilepsy thing, I think, is really what affected him. I think that's what kind of hurt his draft stock. And a lot of the things you kept hearing a lot of the sports analysts rather say is that his inconsistency at times was the thing that people were a little iffy about. But I feel like every college quarterback coming out has some type of inconsistency. I mean, even if you look at Trevor Lawrence, there's some inconsistency there. But I don't know. Fields, it's an interesting case.
He's an interesting case for a couple of different reasons, in my book.
Well, and I hope he does well. I mean, I think he's uber talented. Like, he's so talented. But the thing that worries me is, like, he's going to a team that has a terrible offensive line.
Right.
He has one weapon in Allen Robinson. And which I'm sure he's happy just to finally get somebody that can actually get the ball to him.
Not named Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, not Mitch Trubisky, or insert terrible, quarterback choice here.
Right.
But I don't know. I was the thing that surprised me about Fields, though, was the fact that New York, I mean, obviously the New York didn't take him, but the fact that New York took a mobile quarterback, but a lesser valued mobile quarterback.
You're talking about the Jets, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about maybe I didn't specify that. I think I just said New York. But, yeah, the Jets, they took Zach Wilson at 2,
right, and
which is where Fields originally was projected to go. And I don't understand. Like, I don't get why if your reason for taking Zach Wilson was because that he is able to extend the play,
right,
and make plays outside of the pocket,
right,
for a weak offensive line, which they have, a very weak offensive line. Okay, then why not take Fields?
I agree 100%.
Okay, let's say, all right, okay, you don't want to take Fields because of the epilepsy. Okay, you got Trey Lance at 3, who is just as much, if not more, mobile than Zach Wilson, and they're comparing to Pat Mahomes, which I've only seen one tape on this guy.
I think the lack of tape on Trey Lance really hurt him.
Yeah.
As far as 4 overall is not a fall for him, but if you're comparing Zach Wilson to him, I agree. That's what hurt him not going 2 overall was the lack of tape. So, anyways, the other go ahead.
Go ahead. What you got?
The other thing about Fields is the Ohio State quarterback thing. Is the name the last great Ohio State quarterback that
Dwayne Haskins
that made it in the NFL.
I don't know if I can.
I don't know
I'm
that
sure
there
is
is
one. I can't think of one though. You probably have to go pretty far back.
I was thinking, you drop into the 90s, 80s,
Yeah.
or maybe even less than that.
I can think of some running backs. I can't think of.
Well,
quarterbacks.
they've had
There's
a lot of
running
talented
backs.
guys, defensively, receiver, offensive line, obviously running back. They've had a great run of running backs.
Yeah.
But the quarterback position for, a long time has just been in the
Terrible.
pros, for lack of a better term, terrible. So I think
Yeah.
that maybe also hurt Fields in the eyes of some GMs.
Actually, I can think of one that had a good career, but it's an unfair comparison because he didn't play quarterback in the NFL.
Terrell Pryor?
Yeah, Terrell Pryor.
I don't
So
consider
I
that.
got one, but
I don't consider that.
Yeah,
That's
I don't.
just me.
You can't count that because he played receiver.
Right.
But yeah, the biggest surprise to me was Mac Jones. Mac Jones being able, New England moved up, and I feel like I saw a stat, and I think it's accurate because I can't recall. It's the first quarterback that Bill Belichick's ever taken in the first round.
That sounds right. I don't know that that's right, but
That's pretty crazy.
that sounds about right.
That's pretty crazy. I think that he has the most. I'm not comparing him. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. I think he has the most comparable Brady build about him.
I agree.
If that's a really fancy way of wording that to make it.
Anyway, how I would take that pick is out of the quarterbacks, he was the safest pick.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, outside of Trevor Lawrence, you take Trevor Lawrence out of that conversation.
Obviously.
But as far as the rest of those quarterbacks go, Mac Jones he has the highest floor, but the lowest ceiling, if that makes sense. Like, he was the safest pick.
Yeah, I get that, and I get what you're saying. I think that it's kind of funny though. I think that the talk was whether Mac Jones was going to take, or I'm sorry, whether San Francisco was going to take Mac Jones or Trey Lance.
Right.
And I think it's kind of funny, the Niners got exactly what they wanted, and the Patriots got exactly what they wanted, what they needed, a scheme fit.
Right.
A scheme fit quarterback, both of them.
Right.
So I think they both won in the end, especially if Trey Lance ends up being like they're projecting him to be.
I don't think he will, but that's just
I don't
personal
either.
opinion. I don't. But there again, I don't have enough tape on the guy to know. And guys, if you're with us, go ahead, drop a comment. We'll love to have a conversation with you and talk about what we're talking about.
I will say though that of course, it's me being a homer, being a Titan fan.
Right.
But the Titans took the North Dakota State left tackle.
Right.
And his name, I didn't write it down, so I'm losing it right now.
I can't remember his name
but
either.
They took Trey Lance's left tackle, which I thought was kind of interesting. So
I'm sure he's talented. I mean,
he had a pretty high grade. But again, I don't have any tape on that guy. I haven't watched the film on him, of course. But something else I thought was kind of cool is, and I got it pulled up here because I'm gonna misquote the spots if I don't. The Bengals take Jamar Chase at 5. He pairs back up with
Joe
Burrow. Then the Eagles take Devontae Smith at 10. He pairs back up with Jalen Hurts.
Right.
And then the Dolphins, I skipped the Dolphins actually. The Dolphins take Jalen Waddle at 6, and he pairs back up with Tua. How cool is that?
Right. I thought that was kind of a cool thing to see in the draft.
It is kind of cool that the GMs actually took into consideration getting a receiver that kind of has already a chemistry connection with the quarterbacks, from college.
From college, I get it, but if I'm the Bengals, the only one I'm going to really criticize is the Bengals.
Yeah.
You have to get an offensive lineman. Panay Sewell is
I
right
agree.
there.
I totally agree with that.
The Chase was it's the sexy pick.
Yeah.
It's what the fans like to see. But if you're Joe Burrow, you're going, dude, I love Jamar, but get me offensive line help. Because
taking Jamar is getting a Mustang when you should have got a minivan because you got car seats.
Right.
You got to put kids in the car.
You've got to get where you're going. And you can't throw the ball down the field if you're laying flat on your back.
Oh no, absolutely not.
So you have to get to me. They should have taken the left tackle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Granted, if they can add some more protection, the rest of this off season,
right?
Make some signings or something, make some moves, and trades and stuff.
Absolutely.
If they get enough protection to play up front, golly bum, you got Joe Burrow back there slinging the rock to T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and then what's the other? There's another receiver.
I think we mentioned him in one of our other podcast episodes, and maybe one with technical difficulties. Is it Boyd?
Boyd, that was it. Yeah,
Okay.
Boyd. I mean, golly, that's going to be a defensive nightmare.
It is. I mean, and don't they still have Eifert? Is that right? Still have Tyler Eifert, or did he leave?
Actually, I'm not sure, to be honest. That's a good question, though.
Because that's another weapon at tight end.
Yeah.
But anyways, another still in the draft I thought was Najee Harris falling to 24, 22 to the Steelers.
Steelers, yeah.
And Harris is one of those guys, and ETN going from. Did he go to the Jags too?
He ended up with the Jags. Yeah, they took him. I think it was 25. Yeah, they took him late, 25.
Right. I think him and Harris were real close. Like 22
they went back
and
to
25.
back. No, it was
24,
Harris
25?
went 24, and
Okay, so
ETN went 25.
I was right with the first one. But ETN getting to go with Trevor Lawrence from Clemson to
pretty cool.
the Jags. I don't think many people talked about that one. Everybody talked about the receiver, like you talked about, the quarterback, reuniting, and those guys didn't even have to spend a year apart. They're going to be going right pro together, which I think is pretty cool. And they need help at running back. James Robinson's good, but I don't think he's going to sustain what he did last year. Again, he could. They could have a running back by committee. I don't know. But ETN landed in there, and I think the Steelers got to steal with Harris.
I think so, too. I think it's a good pick.
And I think we mentioned in one of our other podcast episodes that if Waddle doesn't go down, Harris probably wins the Heisman.
I had a moment there. Yeah.
If Waddle doesn't go down, Devontae doesn't win the Heisman.
No.
Najee Harris wins the Heisman.
Yeah, because, that was what increased his workload, was Waddle going down. And I don't know.
And you're talking about Smith.
Smith, I'm sorry. It's an unpopular opinion, but I think Waddle is the best receiver in the draft.
I do too.
I think he's the best receiver. I think you take away the injury, he's the first receiver off the board.
Well, in a year and a half, you can just look at his stats, and they're really good.
I mean, he is. I mean, and if any receiver should have won the Heisman, but again, barring injury, it should have been Waddle.
Right.
But Devontae Smith had a great year. I'm not taking anything from him. But yeah,
what's his nickname? The Slim Reaper.
Yeah. Well, the guy's like 100 pounds soaking wet. I mean, good grief.
I think he's 180. He's like
180.
6'2". I swear he's 180.
Well, he's wearing 80 pounds of gear.
That's game day ready.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on out of that segment. We're going to move on into our next segment, which is the FCS and NAIA playoffs. And actually, I've not been keeping up with it like I should. But we're going to be calling somebody else here in just a minute and talking to him. But I'll let Jesse talk a little bit more about the FCS and NAIA playoffs. And I think the NAIA is playing their national championship on Monday.
Monday, May 10th. I'm going to hit on the FCS first.
Right.
The biggest news from the FCS, I think it was episode 1.
Right.
When we talked about North Dakota State getting upset.
Right.
And I think, actually, correct me here, but was it Southern Illinois that upset them?
I believe it was.
And I don't think that they actually made playoffs, surprisingly enough.
Well, that's one of those.
We talked about that crazy, scenario,
right.
And apparently it happened. But North Dakota State got beat in, I guess he'd be the quarterfinals by Sam Houston, who's a 2 seed. They beat him 24-20.
Wow.
And it's crazy because this is the first time in years that North Dakota State has not at least made the semis. They've made the championship consecutive years,
right? But
at least the semis. I'd have to go back and check my facts, but I had notes of that from the first episode, and I want to think it was something crazy like 2007 or 2008 or something.
That sounds right.
Something crazy like that. Now, again, I have to go check my facts, so I'm probably going to misquote that. And if I do, if he's watching, Brian Hamby will be the first one to correct me, or Cody Muse will be the first 2 people to correct me on that. So I hope you guys do. I hope it shows you're watching. Anyway, so Sam Houston plays James Madison May 8th, 2:30 kickoff for that, and that's the semifinals. And then number 1 South Dakota State, we talked about them too because that South Dakota State North Dakota State rivalry.
Right.
Number 1 South Dakota State plays Delaware at noon on May 8th, and those are both Eastern time slots. So
right, and
it's kind of looking like it's going to shape up to maybe a South Dakota State Sam Houston as well. A lot of people are thinking the prediction there. So who knows? But it's going to be exciting to watch, and I think that the championship is on ESPN or ESPN2.
I'd imagine
We'll
so.
have-
With being
I'm
a
sure-
springtime
yeah.
football, I would imagine that they'd pick that up.
I mean, that's May 15th, so we got some time for that. That'll be on the next episode, of
Right.
course. But then jumping over to NAIA, man, and this guy we're about to get, man, I was so hoping to see
I know.
Ron Hart run. And they had a great season, though. They had a great season. Unfortunately, though, all things have to come to an end at some point, and it came to an end on the 24th. They got beat by Kaiser, and Kaiser is a very, very talented team.
Absolutely.
But the championship, and it's crazy to me that it ended this way. The championship is set for May 10th, which is Monday, 6 p.m. Central Time, and it's Lindsey Wilson and Northwestern, I believe it's right. Yeah, Northwestern from Iowa.
Mhm.
And what's crazy is I can remember when Lindsey Wilson first had the program.
Mm-hmm.
They've not been a program for very long. I think it's been less than 10 years, or if it's been right at.
It was right around 2010, 2011, I believe, when they started that. So they're
Okay, I was thinking 2012. So yeah, so
they're right.
Yeah, and so for them to be, playing for a national championship, that quickly,
Right.
that's pretty unbelievable.
Right.
But I was looking at their stats when we were preparing to talk about NAIA a few episodes ago, and which a lot of these teams had some pretty crazy stat lines, but Lindsey Wilson was just rolling through people. Like I'm talking, like their dudes were off the field by early third quarter.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable. And even in these playoffs, like I'm looking at some of their scores, like they beat Concordia. I probably mispronounced that. 49-27. They beat. Well, I don't know why I can't see the rest of them. I'm probably gonna be able to pull this up now. I just had them. I lost them. But anyways, my point was that they were rolling through these teams, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens between them and Northwestern.
Right.
May 10th. That might it be a championship being springtime. I would think that somebody would have that airing somewhere. You would think.
Yeah, I would.
I mean,
think
it's
so.
a national championship. I mean, it's got to be on something.
Well, not only that, but it's a spring, like we just said about the FCS.
Yeah, and I'll try to pull that up. Lindsey Wilson had something on their page here.
Hey guys, if you're with us, go ahead, Jesse. If you're with us, let us know how the sound checks out. We're using new mics and all that bunch of stuff, new webcam. Let us know how the image looks, how it sounds, if you don't mind. We'd love chatting with you guys. The chat should be open. So yeah, just let us know, or if you have questions for us, go ahead and just ask.
Maybe it's not live. If it is, we'll put it on the Facebook and Twitter pages.
Absolutely.
But they've got a radio link here, but no TV link. So maybe it's not. I thought the last one was because I feel like Billy played in it his freshman year.
Yeah, because he had to come in for a
watch. I remember watching that game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought on TV. Maybe it wasn't on TV.
It might have been a thing where the Ron Hart streamed
Maybe
it,
an
and
internet broadcast or something.
Absolutely.
So are we ready to move on to our 5 and 5 and then get Billy on here?
No, wait. Let's do Billy first. Let's get Billy
first.
Let's get Billy on first, and then
so I can get in here.
we'll talk to him for about 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll do our 5 and 5.
Okay. Let's see who's really here. I wish we could have had him on the Zoom call.
Right. We tried for a while. I could not get OBS to cooperate with us.
Let's see if I can get him on speaker here. You there, Billy?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Is it picking him up on the mic here?
I'm gonna make sure, just to make sure. What's going on, Billy?
Redneck.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
I'm doing pretty good, brother. How are you?
I'm good.
Good, man. Hated to hear what happened to you guys this past week, but it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of the game. Part of it.
Right. Absolutely.
But how'd you feel your season went? I'll just ask you that right off the bat. How'd you feel your season went?
I think it went good. I think we did some things that, other teams didn't think we could do. I think we surprised a lot of people.
Right.
And, we fell short, but overall, I think we went pretty good.
Well, was you happy with yourself? Let me ask that. That's a bigger question. Was you happy with yourself?
Yes, I was. I was.
Is that being overly confident, or you?
No, I just feel like I worked really hard, and then the teammates I have around me, they're unreal. When you go out to play with them every day, and you go out and give it all, a lot of times good things tend to happen.
Right.
Hey, that's a good answer.
That's a very good answer. And Billy, I watched you play a couple games this year, man, and I'm going to tell you, I was really impressed. I really enjoyed watching it, man. I really did.
Thank you.
Yeah, I watched a couple too, and I was impressed with you. But to give a little spotlight to your teammates, man, I was impressed with the entire team.
Oh yeah.
You guys got some guys. You got some dudes that can ball. Yeah, you do. And speaking of those dudes, and speaking to you a little bit, you got a little bit of news for us, right? That you want to talk about? Something exciting?
Yeah. So I have decided that I'm going to come back in the fall and play another year at Reinhardt.
Man, that is awesome.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Now, is that because you entered your masters, or is that because of COVID?
It's because of COVID. They're giving us another year.
Awesome, man. That's good.
What all? And I know there's you're the competitiveness in you, but what all went into this decision? Like what ultimately led you to stay at Reinhardt?
Yeah, so I just feel like as a team we had more left. Like we didn't play very good in the last game. I just feel like there's so much more in store for us as a team than kind of like what we put on the field and like what happened this year. And with that, I just feel like it's gonna be better for me. You give me another year, let my body develop, me get better at the game, and everything like that.
I like that at the end there too. Give me another year. Watch me work. Which, by the way, congratulations. First of all, Billy was named an honorable mention for the All-American team, NAIA All-American. So congratulations on that, Billy.
Thank you.
And I didn't actually know this, and you have to correct me if I'm wrong on it, but was doing some talking with some local guys here today, some of your former coaches, and there was a mention that you were a finalist for an award. Is that right?
Yeah, I was up for the National Player of the Year vote.
That is huge, man. That's
Wow.
awesome. Congratulations. I didn't actually know that, and I'm sorry. I feel bad I didn't know that. Found that out today. So that is huge. That's a huge accomplishment. And I'm excited to see what, one more year, give him a year in the off season.
Right.
Man, the sky's the limit. And I just want to know too, like how many of your teammates are coming back? Or any of them, have they decided to stay another year as well?
Yes, pretty much. We pretty much have the exact same team coming back.
Whoa! Oh my gosh!
Well, let me ask you this then: since you have your whole team coming back, you're obviously coming back. Give me 2 team goals, and 2 individual goals. And I say team goals because team comes before the individual. Right. So I want 2 team goals first, and then 2 individual goals for you.
Okay, so the big team goal would just be obviously win the national championship.
There you go.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think the second one is just to continue to get better every week, and kind of because we had some games this year, we come out really fast one week and then kind of struggle at the beginning of the next week. We kind of just there would be games we played really good and games we struggled. And I think if we just the goal would just be to continue to get better every week.
All right, I like it.
What about the 2 individual
goals?
Yeah.
I would like to be an All-American again.
Absolutely.
And then we'll put the second personal goal as winning that National Player of the Year.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
I like it. Those are 2 good goals to, 4 good goals actually, 2 team, 2 individual goals to have. And I'm looking forward to getting to see you another year. Actually looking forward to that schedule because Keith, we had actually mentioned, and then we had mentioned early on, man, wish we could have got to go to one of those games that were close at Kentucky. and do like maybe like some kind of live feed stream or something, and then maybe talk with him after a game. So I'm excited to see the schedule come out. Has that schedule already been released for next season?
Just only our first games came out. That's it so far.
Okay. Well, we're excited to see that schedule because there's got to be a game we can go to that's relatively close to us. If not, then we're gonna have to make the trip to Georgia. That's just all there is to it.
I have to ask Coach Hall for his room in the van.
Yeah. I think he'd probably do it.
I don't doubt one bit that he
absolutely
have us on, man.
But yeah, man, that is awesome, Billy. That's huge. So congratulations on all that. It sounds like you got a lot of great things, a lot of bright spots ahead in the future. Sounds like you all do, you and your teammates included. So give us a little. We were talking about the FCS playoffs and the NAIA playoffs before we got you on here. Can you give us your take at all on the championship game on these two teams that are getting ready to play? And I think it's Monday night, right?
Yes.
Did you see either one of these teams in the regular season? I don't feel like you guys played them, but I may be wrong.
We did not.
Do you know anything about either team?
Yeah, I know. Lindsey Wilson's ranked number 1 defensively.
Wow.
They got a dude at quarterback who's good, was second-team All-American. And then Northwestern's quarterback was first-team All-American, had like 43 total touchdowns or something.
Wow.
But Northwestern's starting quarterback is hurt and he's not playing.
Oh, that's big. That's big.
Yep.
That's big.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very big. And Lindsey Wilson's close too. I feel like they're in Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky.
I'm not sure where in Kentucky, but I know they're relatively close to us.
I don't know. I actually don't know the answer to that one. I really don't.
But so how's the master's program going, Billy?
It's going really good. Just finished up my first semester of it.
Oh wow! So you finished football and a semester of master's programs all in like a week and a half. Wow.
Wow. So are you gonna is by staying an extra semester does it just how's that go with your workload with school? How are you balancing that?
It's going good. It's not too bad. All my master stuff's online. So
oh, okay.
Kind of just whenever I can get it done throughout the week and everything.
Actually, I bet that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it does for sure.
That way.
It does.
So that's good though, man. I can't tell you how proud we are of you, how happy we are for you, man, and you keep putting in the hard work, and good things will come. Which I'm sure your dad's told you that, people have told you that, and it seems like you know that. So you just keep putting in that hard work, nose to the grindstone, man, and good things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
You and your team, for your coaches, and all that good stuff. Let me ask you this: where are you guys looking at as far as your turnaround, getting ready for next season? I know you just ended, but what is your summer camp, weightlifting, all that going to do for a fall season for you guys?
Yeah, so they're giving us off until May 15th, where we're just not doing anything.
Okay.
Just to kind of give our bodies time to recover a little bit, because we've been going nonstop really since July.
Right.
So I know we have until May 15th, and then we'll start summer workouts and everything, and then come back for fall camp and everything beginning of August.
Okay. Well, to me that's interesting too. I know FCS is the same way. Is they're going to have such a quick turnaround to have a full-fledged fall season. That's going to be hectic, I'm sure. There's going to be a lot of, like we mentioned in the first episode, going to be a lot of highly paid strength and conditioning and recovery staff because their bodies are going to need it. So have you heard anything, Billy, about as far as what Reinhardt is planning to do going forward with the fall season, as far as attendance? Are you guys looking at a full-fledged open stadium, or is there still going to be restrictions?
Yeah, so what I've heard as of right now, the plan is to go full attendance.
That's
and open
awesome.
it back up.
Right.
That's huge.
I think a lot of places are going to look to do that as long as they can, as long as nothing else happens with COVID.
Right. And that's exciting news to hear because that means we're getting back to a normal state of college football. I know we love it as fans. I'm sure you love it as a player because I'm sure that that fan engagement probably elevates your game a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But so yeah, that's exciting news to hear. Definitely exciting to hear. And it's funny. It's interesting that when I first reached out to you about getting you on tonight, I was hoping to. I was wanting to get you on because I remember, if you remember, I mentioned it the last time we talked. I wanted to have you back because I wanted to ask you some of those tough questions about after college, like professional playing. So it was funny when I reached out to him and he was like, "Well, I'm actually playing another year at Reinhardt." I was like, "Whoa, wait, okay, we definitely got to get you on for that."
Big news.
So we'll have you on again this time next year to talk about what you've heard as far as team engagement and things. But yeah, dude, we're so happy for you, so proud of you, as everybody locally is, I'm sure. But you guys are doing some big things and looking forward to seeing what Reinhardt can do this fall.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But have you got anything else for him?
He's answered all my questions and done them well. Done a great job.
Well, Billy, we appreciate you again for coming on, and have a Famosphere shirt for you. I'm gonna get that to you. May have to get you a Gridiron Guru shirt too to wear around campus. If you,
Oh, yeah.
he may not want to wear our ugly mugs around campus. I don't know, but we'll let you get back to it though. I'm sure you got stuff to do, and appreciate you for coming on and talking to us, Billy. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
See you, brother.
See ya.
Yeah, I've always said I've got the perfect face for radio, and now we're doing YouTube stuff.
Yeah, really. Yeah. I know I don't. I enjoy it, but
Right,
I'm sure all 3 viewers we have or whatever we got are probably thinking, "Man, who's this ugly guy talking
Right.
about college football?"
Hey, we know what we're talking about. We're ugly, but we know what we're talking about.
We think we do. we think we
Put
do.
on a good show.
Man, how cool is that though? I mean,
It's
to
great.
see a local kid like that, going on and doing his thing and,
Right.
and seeing real success.
Absolutely.
And so super happy for him. And gosh, he's just a joy to talk to, man. He's just a good, humble young man.
Right.
But
I love the answer though. Everything that he talked about, it was always team first. It was every answer. It was the team this, and then we was the one that kind of instigated the.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, I like the team first, but my favorite thing was when he said, "Give me another year. Give me another year."
Right.
And to me, that was kind of like it sounded like he hit a Mamba mentality moment.
Right.
And so,
Unfinished
and I know
business.
he's a competitor. He's such a
Absolutely.
competitor. So I know he's gonna put in the work this offseason.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he has always put in the work. It has proven, that
Right.
you don't get to where he's been and get to experience the things he's experienced without putting in the work.
Right. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see what they do, man. I'm sitting here thinking, Reinhardt, and they had a good year.
Right.
And to be honest, and again, I guess I'm biased in a lot of ways, but I felt like they were ranked a little too low. And I don't know if I have it pulled up here. It doesn't show the ranking. I feel like, though, when I sent you that, Reinhardt was like 8.
So I was thinking 6, but
Okay.
it may
Somewhere
have been
there.
right.
Somewhere around there.
And they were undefeated
And-
too, right?
If they weren't undefeated, they just had 1 loss.
Right.
I can't remember exactly. It was either 1 loss or undefeated.
Right.
Which, I mean, like I said, there were a lot of teams that had some pretty good seasons, and it was a shortened season because of COVID.
Right.
Next year, you're going to see a lot more out of conference play,
Right.
things like that. If barring any unforeseen stuff.
Right.
But I thought they were too low. I thought they were ranked too low. I thought they
agree.
got paired up with some teams that they should have probably saw later. And
Right.
but like he said, they have work. They have unfinished business.
Right.
And I'm excited to see what happens. It's actually interesting. He was saying that they're bringing back the majority of their roster. I'm curious to see how many other teams will have that same type of scenario. Like how many guys from these other teams like Lindsey Wilson, Morningside, Georgetown, Marion, how many of those Kaiser, how many of those teams of their guys stay,
Right.
So it could be a very exciting year of college football all around the board
Absolutely.
with this COVID year.
Right.
But
anyway,
as far as that was, we got to move on. We got to talk about other things.
All right. So we're going to move on into our 5 for 5, and Jesse, I'm actually going to set a timer because we actually did this last week when we had technical difficulties, and the 5 and 5 went to 5 and 15. We took about 15 minutes to do it.
20, so I'm surprised it was 15. You set a timer on me, and I might go over it, and I ain't going to listen to your little wimpy timer. I'm going to keep on talking.
Oh, I'm just going to tell you that when you hit the time, I'm going to start talking, and there'll be both of us talking at the same time. And
well, then we'll just have to see whose argument is better. At that point, we'll Spurrier this thing.
All right.
What episode are we on? And I mentioned Spurrier all but one episode.
I think it was the first episode you didn't. And I think we're like 7 or 8 episodes in.
So 7 of 8, I've mentioned Spurrier. I'm going to find a way to mention his name in every episode from here on out, just so you have to keep hearing his name.
Yeah, and you're wrong about it anyways.
I'm not wrong about it. I'm going to bring some. You just wait. I got somebody coming a few weeks out.
All right.
Give me some time to work on this. But I got somebody coming that's going to help my argument. And actually, I'm gonna call him out on this so that way I can clip it and send it to him. But Steven Garcia tweeted back at us that he would come on this show, and I want him on here to help my argument to defend Steve Spurrier as a top 20 of the last 20. And I'm going to clip that, and I'm going to tweet that at him directly, calling him out to come on this show. Because I'm telling you, Steve Spurrier is deserving. But anyways, that's
story for another day.
That's another argument for you to lose some other time.
Okay. Anyways, our 5 and 5 this week is the top 5 coaches that are landed at a new school this year. Their first year head coaching at their new school. This isn't a first year head coaching experience period. It's the 5 coaches that landed at a new school this year, their first year at that school. The top 5 that we're interested in. We're going to start at 5. I'll put the 5 minutes on the timer. I'll start out.
Go ahead. And I'll just say before we get started, like the way we may have done our list differently. I don't know. The way I did my list is I chose 5 people that I thought would make, in my opinion, the most significant impact in the first year.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're going to win the conference. I'm just saying that they will.
They're going from where the coach was before and improving.
Yeah. They're making a big change of some kind, whether it's to the offense, whatever.
Right.
But all right, go ahead and get yours started.
All right.
I'm curious to see how close we are.
5, I got Josh Heupel at Tennessee, and it's a little bit of a homer. I'm interested, but just as a Tennessee fan, I want to see that offense. I want to see how he's changing the defense. He actually got a linebacker from Texas.
Yep.
Not long ago, we got the quarterback from Michigan, and I'm interested to see how that all goes and what the changes from Pruitt, who is more of a grinded out kind of coach, play good defense, which is a typical SEC thing to do, to what I would call a Big 12 offense, score a lot of points.
Actually, my number 5 was Heupel too, so I'll be quick. One thing I was going to add is that I put him at 5 because being a homer, I had to.
Right, I did too.
Because I'm just curious.
Right. There was somebody else I had there, but
honestly, I had Sarkisian, but I changed it.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, and there I go throwing off my list. But he had 3 top 10 ranked offenses at UCF 2018 through 2020 at 8, 5, and 6. So I think that the offense is going to be able to they're going to be exciting. They're going to move the ball, may put up points. Defense is the biggest concern for me.
Absolutely.
But I do think that we see a big shift in the offense, which is.
Absolutely. All right, so going on to number 4 is Shane Beamer at South Carolina.
Okay.
I think that he is going to be a big change from Muschamp ball. I think he is going to improve that offense tremendously. Defensively, he's going to improve them tremendously.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested to see how he compares up to Clemson. I think he'll give them a much better game than what Muschamp did. That's going to be his test. Can he keep that game competitive?
I think this year he can, just because of the stuff that or the players that Clemson's losing.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm curious about that one myself. But I didn't throw him on here. My number 4 is Jed Fish at Arizona, and I know everybody's gonna be like, "What? Who?" Arizona went 0-5 in 2020, and Kevin Sumlin he just fell off the wagon down there. The wheels came off completely. But real fast, they got 14 returning starters, which is the fourth most in the Pac-12. Their leading passer last year only threw for 625 yards, which is terrible. I expect the passing game to really explode because this guy they brought in is an offensive guru. He's been on nothing but offense. He's worked with some really good coaches: Sean McVay, Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh. And they are in a pretty tough division though, but it's not the toughest side of the division. They're in there with USC, UCLA, Utah, Arizona State, Colorado, so they can crank out a couple wins.
Okay, I'll give that to you.
So
we're going to run out of time.
I told you we were going to make it.
I'm going to make this one real quick. 3 is Brett Bielema at Illinois. I'm going to see where he stacks up there in the Big Ten. With Franklin and Ryan Day and Harbaugh, and just see what he can kind of bring that power run game.
Yeah, my number 3 is Butch Jones. I know I'm going to get flack.
Oh man,
I'm going to get so much flack.
I actually can see why you put him there.
I'm telling you though, Butch Jones is not as bad of a head coach as we give him.
He's not a bad head coach. I just think that the job at Tennessee was too big for him.
It was too big for him. But that's what I was about to say. This spot at Arkansas State is exactly where he needs to be. Exactly where he needs to be. He's had
Cincinnati. It's just like Cincinnati.
Exactly. Well, even smaller. He has had 5 top 25 finishes as a head coach, and 3 of those were at a group of 5, which is Central Michigan and Cincinnati.
Right, absolutely.
Only 3 seasons in his coaching career, 11-year coaching career as a head coach, that he didn't make a bowl game. And then his overall record is 84-54 with a 4-2 bowl record. Now he's in a pretty tough conference. He's in there with App State, Coastal Carolina, Louisiana, Georgia Southern, Georgia State. That's a tough group of 5.
I think he'll compete.
I think he will too. I think he goes in and competes right away.
Absolutely.
I think he competes right away. That's my number 3.
He did at Tennessee. Number 2 is Gus Malzahn.
I'm excited to see who your number 1 is.
Right. I knew I was going to throw you a screwball with number 1.
Yeah, you did.
But Gus Malzahn, who I think should have been coach at Tennessee, is going to go from – and typically these guys we're talking about are going from Group of 5 to Power 5 or within Power 5.
Yeah.
This guy is going from Power 5 down to Group of 5.
Yeah.
Much like Butch Jones, I guess, but he wasn't head coach to head coach. So I'm really interested to see what he can do down there. I think it's going to be really, really fun.
I agree, and that I've got him. He's high. He's number 1 for me. But anyways, my number 2 is Brett Bielema at Illinois.
Okay.
Illinois went 2-6 last year. Bielema's had 3 Big Ten titles at Wisconsin. Ironically enough, he's in the same division as Wisconsin. Right. He's in the weakest side. He's in there with Northwestern, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska, Purdue. Notice I did not name Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State. None of them.
Right.
He has an opportunity to compete.
Not only make the conference title game.
I'm not saying he's going to do it year 1. I'm not saying he's even going to. I'm not even going to say he's going to make a conference title game. But I do think he cranks out some wins. I think he wins more than 2 ball games. Right. I don't think he goes 2-6.
Right.
I could easily see him winning 5, maybe 6 ball games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe.
Absolutely. All right. And so my number 1 is, and we'll start the timer because we ran over. We're going to be about a minute over on the 5 for 5. Is Steve Sarkisian.
Okay.
And here's why. Steve Sarkisian is obviously an offensive, mastermind. He's a genius. Yeah. But what gets me about the whole Texas situation, he has he's going to have a better chance to get those Texas athletes and compete against Iowa State and Oklahoma, and that's what excites me.
Yeah.
I think he has a chance to not only win that division, the whole division. I think he has a chance to win the whole conference and be nationally relevant. Have Texas nationally relevant this year.
You think he does it year 1?
Year 1.
Wow, that's a big prediction.
Year 1. I think he has them. I think he has them ranked top 25.
That's crazy. My number 1 is, and I'm not knocking them. I mean, Sarkisian was a huge hire.
Right.
My number 1 though, that I think makes the biggest impact year 1 is Gus Malzahn.
Right.
And you threw a lot of things out there, but Gus Malzahn is the only coach on this entire list who has won a national championship as a head coach.
Right.
He's the only coach in the American Conference with an FBS national championship as a head coach. There are a couple that have won it as a coordinator. Luke Fickell being one. There are a couple that have won it at the FCS level. And I'm forgetting his name, but the coach at Tulsa has won 1 or 2. And he's in the toughest. I feel like the toughest group of 5 conference because you're in there with Cincinnati, who just went toe to toe with Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Sugar Bowl, and I think that's right. I may have misquote. I think it's right. Anyways, he went toe to toe. They went toe to toe with them. I mean, that's Cincinnati's bringing a lot back.
Right.
Memphis is always competitive.
Right.
USF, Tulsa, Tulane. Actually, I think Tulane might not be in that conference now that I say that. But Gus Malzahn, I think is offensive guru, and I think that he will just continue the success that UCF has seen the last few years with Frost and then Heupel, and then some. I think they win the conference year one.
Right.
I think they win the American year one.
When they hired up.
They did hire up, and that's
Right.
that's the thing. That's what all the college football analysts are saying is that you upgraded.
Right.
You upgraded.
Right.
And
I think Tennessee upgraded, but I think that they could have taken the next step and had gut. But now he may have not even took the phone call. But that's another discussion.
And see, that's another thing too. Is I think that you got a coach that was not only competing, but in producing wins. But he was competing in the toughest division of the toughest conference in this NCAA.
I mean, he's recruiting in the same state as Alabama.
Exactly, and we talked about how SEC West could be a conference of their own.
They're that good.
They're that good.
Absolutely.
And so you take a guy that's able to do all that, win 2 division titles,
right,
and national championship,
right,
and you're going to pull him out and put him in a weaker conference with weaker level coaches, weaker competition. What?
Right.
That's
right.
a recipe.
As long as he can recruit well there, that's going to be.
And I think that just his name alone will be. He's in the state of Florida.
Right.
UCF is already being, they're nationally known now.
Right.
Because of Frost.
And Heupel. Right.
I think that they couple all that together, especially when they start making some BCS or New Year's Six bowls.
Right.
Because it's going to happen.
It will happen. Because of their schedule.
Yeah.
Their record is going to reflect where they should be at. Or at least they think they should be at. We'll see if they can compete there.
And will be interesting to me. I don't know that it happens. Actually, I don't think it happens just because I think it's so hard for a non-Power 5 to do it. But it would be interesting to see if he could be the first coach to get a Group of 5 team in the playoff. I don't think it happens at 4. I think it's going to have to get expanded to 8 for a Group of 5 team to make it.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
It would be interesting. I mean, it would be cool to see.
I mean, if it happened a couple years ago when Frost was there, he's in the top 4.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because they was on the outside looking in on a national championship.
Yep.
So that's it for me.
That's it for me. It was a short episode, but
we're at an hour. So.
Oh wow.
Well, 48 minutes. So not too bad.
No, not too bad. I think it was a pretty good first live.
Oh yeah. Guys, let us know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, notification bell. If you don't have time to watch us here going live, we'll upload this to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast at, and that way you can listen whenever you can. But that's it for us. See you guys.
See you.